What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady, and the chef, joined by
And
my co-host,
Diva 21. What's up?
Diva Locks. Got her locks twisted all up, so she's looking brand new today for today's episode, which is a goodie because it's Friday. The Knicks are playing their second is in-season tournament game against Washington. This should be an easy win for the Knicks. I know no win should be easy for the Knicks, but the Knicks should be able to get this win as Washington has lost their last four games. They're sitting at 2-9 in the season so far. The Knicks are 6-5, sixth in the Eastern Conference. Um, Grimes is out tonight. He's not going to play with the left hand injury. Don't know if you knew that. RJ is pretty much going to be out. They're saying he's questionable with the illness. Don't know what that means. But let's rewind it back really quickly. The Knicks did beat Atlanta on Wednesday. It was a close game. It was 116 to 114, but the Knicks managed to pull out that W, which kudos to them. I think the Knicks should be beating a team like Atlanta. Uh, as far as players standings, stats for that game, Randall played 39 minutes. He had 29 points. RJ Barrett, excuse me, Jalen Brunson played 41 minutes, scored 24 points. Grimes played 29 minutes, had 11 points. Quickly played 28 minutes, had 20 points. Ihart played 17 minutes, had 11 points. Mitchell Robinson played 31 minutes. He had 15 rebounds and 6 points. Josh Hart played 33 minutes. He had 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. As far as that game, what did you like from that Atlanta game?
Oh, there was a lot of takeaways and some
Yeah.
good ones. Um, you know, they they were unselfish. That was one. Um, every player, they was dialed in. They seemed they were like really locked in. They shared the ball. Um, Definitely extra effort by Mitch. He's I tell you, Mitch he's gonna do great things this season. Um, excuse me, I have a little cough. Um, they again good ball movement. Um, what else? They got up to a good start for the most part. There was of course some defensive laps, but that's a la Knicks, and again they growing. I truly think they don't think they will get better as the season progresses. And just overall, just Randall, IQ, and Brunson, man, they were like really like locked in. There was a lot of contributions. Our bench got outplayed, but those three guys they stepped up. So overall it was a good win. And then Brunson, he's always sacrificing his body, man. I mean, if he's not taking the charge, it's like, what happened, Brunson? So he just the sacrifice, of his body, that could lead to a lot of wear and tear down the road. But he's poised for it. He knows that position, that placement, where he don't sustain an injury. Um, in a huge fourth quarter. So I mean, there was a lot of like, positives with that game. Yeah, we won by two, but hey, a win is a win.
Agreed. And I'll take any win that we can get.
Exactly.
Because at this point, I think it's important that the Knicks snag as many wins as they can early on throughout the season. And I've been saying that with you want to make your mark early and set the tone and get the wins that you need to get. Um, I wish there was more guys on the team who would sacrifice and learn how to take the charges like Jalen Brunson. I think he does that very well. That was one of the things I noticed about him last season. I was like, wow, he knows how to get in front of
Yeah.
the player who's charging down the court and take that charge. And he's not the tallest guy, he's not the biggest frame guy, but he doesn't mind sacrificing his body to help us try to get that team to get that turnover and for us to get the ball right back. So he does that really well. And it's also I wanted to point out that it's notable that the Knicks, this is their first win without RJ Barrett in the game. All the previous games that RJ Barrett has been out, the Knicks have lost those games. So I think it was important also that the Knicks, and same thing for tonight. This is a team, Washington's a team that the Knicks should be beating, but the Knicks also need to prove that they can get consistent wins without RJ Barrett playing in the game. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with this whole RJ Barrett migraine issue, illness. Not sure what's going on there because, of course, they haven't released anything. Grimes, are you concerned with Grimes? Because Grimes has had this issue with the hand before and these little smaller injuries that he's had. Are you concerned with that, or are you not concerned because you have other guys like Josh Hart who played for RJ before, and then you could step up quickly, or DiVincenzo? Or are you feeling like you're not sure because Grimes brings that defensive presence against other teams, the best player on the other teams?
Well, without Grimes is out, if RJ is out, that weakens our bench. So I'm worried, but at the same time I'm not worried. But I'm worried more so. Of course his health, but our bench. Now that takes a toll on the other guys. Because quickly, coming off the bench, he gives that spark. So now, who's he starting in Grimes' place? So again, now our bench get weakened. And then you don't want to sleep on a team like Washington because now our depth is minimized. As far as just who's coming off the bench. But they got to have that next man up attitude and you know continue to play your style of game. But worry for Grimes. I mean, you know, I guess the best thing for him to do is to take care the injury and heal so you can be at 100% when down the road. We got some easy. I mean, no games are easy, but the Wizards is again, every man got to step up. Then you got Charlotte. You can't sleep on these teams, but it sort of like helps him to heal. Um, but I'm not worried for the most part.
Yeah, I'm not worried either just because Grimes, while he does help on a defensive end, one player that I was watching in the Atlanta game that the Knicks played against the Hawks on Wednesday was Emmanuel Quickly. Quickly moves his feet very well on a defensive end. He does a great job. I think to some degree even better than Grimes of moving his feet. And he's able to keep up with a lot of guys who are quick just because he's very quick, no pun intended, but he can truly keep up with those fast players. And I want to say DeJounte Murray, I don't know if you noticed in the fourth quarter, he caught Randall with a nice crossover. He caught him. I was like, got him. I peeped that. He caught Randall with a nice little crossy, and Randall fell, not fell back, but he went back a little bit because he fell for it. And DeJounte hit that nice little mid-range jumper. And I'm saying that not to poke fun and laugh at Randall, but I'm saying that because on our team, guys like Jalen Brunson and Quickly can do that and shake their man off of them. Randall doesn't really have the handle skills, the ball handling skills to do that nice little crossover move or to shake your man off you like a Kyrie or a Steph.
Defend a smaller player at the same time. I guess that's why Dejounte was able to take him on because he figured he can't go out and he don't have the foot movement,
Yeah.
so he took advantage of it. He capitalized off of it.
But that's the problem too with a lot of things with a lot of times with the Knicks players. A lot of guys don't know how to move their feet
Oh
quick
yeah.
enough to keep up with a lot of guys. Because I look at like Indiana. What are the Knicks gonna do when they play them? And Halliburton is gonna have his way. You're gonna let him score 50, 60 points? He's another guy like a Jason Tatum who can have his way, Jokic have his way and do whatever he want. And one thing I did notice that the Knicks have been doing well is that when I notice the opposing team, someone's been driving down the lane, the Knicks players have done a great job. And that more so I give it to like Mitch. He hasn't come up to try to play the help defense or defend that guy that's coming down the middle of the lane. He's staying on his man, that big man. And it still may be costing us a basket, but to me, I think that's what you should do because now when you watch film, to me as a coach, I would be like, that was your man. You got to stay on your man because Mitchell Hartenstein can't keep coming up. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah, in some instances, you want them to come up and try to defend that. But at the same time, this is why every man has to get stronger on the defensive end and being able to guard their man one on one. So I thought that was a good thing that I noticed with the Knicks and how they were playing Atlanta. Trey had a pretty quiet game. He was supposed to be out of that game, but somehow he played that game. Capella had a pretty decent game. But I'm not going back to what we were saying about Grimes. I'm not worried about Grimes being out. Yeah, it does hurt the bench with him not playing. But I think that if Randall, Brunson, Josh Hart, and to be honest, I think this is a good game for DiVincenzo to be able to step up and prove that he can give us anywhere between 15, at least a minimum of 15 points tonight, and give us a couple of assists and boards and he can help out. And a game for Quickly, who's been pretty consistent, but Quickly to also go off and give us 17 to 20 points tonight. So I think that is key for like those two guys to really step up. And it's very important for both Randall and Brunson to be on tonight and to be locked in because this is one of those games that you really don't want one of the guys to have to carry the weight. To me, you need at least that all every night on given games. You need at least three guys who's going to be able to step up and to be able to give you what you need on the points, the boards, and even helping like Randall keep helping Mitch out on the boards and other guys, guards, coming in, not just Josh Hart. Like DiVincenzo does a good top job too, going in for the boards and going in for rebounds. But I think for this game tonight, it's also crucial that the Knicks get this second win for the in-season tournament. You don't want to go down 0-2. So you want to be able to get that win. I don't know if Jimmy Butler had a talk with his guys and say, "Yo, I'm trying to win that money," because I feel like that's what Miami is trying to do. They trying to get that extra cash, and that should be your incentive because, I mean, hey, the New York Liberty won that extra cash. It's a nice incentive, and if I'm a player, Imma be like, "Let's get right," because I'm trying to win that extra cash, that bonus,
yeah,
and it's a nice way for you to try to know it may not be a championship ring, but it's a championship check. It's a nice little bonus to get, and they still give it out for the top 3 teams, but still, why not go for the top prize, the first place prize?
yeah. And they definitely got to watch their turnovers. I mean, the first quarter they had zero turnovers,
Yeah.
and it kind of got sloppy. In the end, the third and the fourth, they had quite a from the second on. But that first quarter, I mean, that was great, awesome, zero turnovers. So you got to watch just those passes and just watch the steals. They're not the best team, but again, you don't want to sleep on. This is a team you don't want to sleep on.
Mhm.
They have some. It's an in-season tournament, so anything can happen.
Exactly. And actually against their last in-season tournament, which I don't know if that was against Atlanta or if that was Charlotte. Washington didn't lose by much. I think they only lost by like 7 points. So it was a fairly close game. But I think for me, you got to watch out for Kyle Kuzma. You got to watch out for Jordan Poole. Those guys can heat up. I mean, Poole hasn't really been playing the greatest, but with the Knicks, anything is possible. When teams play the Knicks, it could be a guy who's been struggling, for several games, and all of a sudden he plays against the Knicks because guys that have when the Knicks will have their guard down, and you can't do that. You got to play every team as if they're the champions, like they're the Denver Nuggets who just won the previous games. And one of the things that we were saying from last season when the Knicks played Miami in the playoffs was that the Knicks were playing a little too soft and too structured, and Miami came out like dogs and they came out hungry. So I think the Knicks have to be able to come out like that, especially when they go and play the Warriors, because we don't know what Draymond is capable of. He may have two guys in a chokehold with the way this animal is playing. you
Yeah.
know? So you just don't know, like, but I just think that the Knicks have to come out like aggressive and come out gritty and be able to be scrap to win all games. I'm talking about going after all loose balls, you know, playing smarter, but playing hard too at the same time. So, what are your keys for tonight's game against Washington?
Like I said, although that their standards is 2-9. Again, I'm with you. You got to watch. This could be a breakout game for Poole. He wanted, quote unquote, his own team. Although that's not his team because Kuzma's been there,
Yeah,
but he made a move so he can be that man. You know, and at Washington, this is giving him his opportunity. So I would definitely, you know, next man up. And Gafford, he's although Mitch is have him as far as the offensive rebound, defensive, but again, box out. Guard the perimeter. Don't sleep on a team like this.
agreed. The score is actually 29-18 with about 3 minutes and 44 seconds left in the first quarter. New York is up 29-18 against Washington. Um, I agree. I think the key thing also is going to be the Knicks taking control over the boards, getting rebounds, being aggressive in the paint, watching their passes, knocking down shots, easy ones and shots from the perimeter. The ball movement is going to be key for tonight. Um, I just think that not letting guys get easy baskets on Washington. And if they can take advantage of any fast break points, if you can run and gun like they did against Atlanta, I thought that was a nice pace game for the Knicks. Like truly watching it, I was like, wow, if the Knicks could play like this damn near every night, that was a well played game by the Knicks and the pace
Was
that they were playing, the ball movement. It was like the Knicks really were gelling and clicking in that game again, and with RJ Barrett out. So I think that, getting those defensive stops, getting the boards, rebounding on both ends, the defensive and offensive end, getting stops, going after steals, no easy buckets for Washington, keep them on lockdown, and not just take the lead, but hold the lead. Maintain that lead and don't let the fourth quarter come and then Washington gets it down to 6 points, 4 points, and then now you guys are scrapping it out the last 2 minutes of the game. Run away with that lead and hold it. If you can get it up by 20, 25, I say do it and maintain that lead throughout the game. And guys just playing smart. So I'm looking forward to the Knicks definitely getting their first in season tournament game tonight against Washington. And the Knicks beating them. It's no reason why the Knicks should lose against Washington tonight. I'd be very shocked if they did.
Yeah. Now you mentioned about clicking, and I have a question. It's so funny that you mentioned that. And a question: do you think that the offense has clicked, or are they still figuring it out?
I think that's a good question. I think they still figuring it out because to some degree, yes, they're clicking. I think guys are like, how we said before the Knicks were playing, they were out of sync. It's still early in the season, but guys seem like they need maybe another month off before the season actually preseason started. But I think that the Knicks still have a couple of um, holes on the defensive end and the offensive end that they still need to clean up. And they're going to get there because last season, after All Star break, I saw the Knicks really gel and things were clicking. And I just want to see like the little minute mistakes to just not happen so often. Like, yeah, you're going to get turnovers, but limit them. You know what I mean? I think also just having a sloppy pass cause a turnover. Now the other team gets the ball, things like that, or not fighting, not boxing out and fighting for those rebounds, or even if a team is taking a free throw and then somebody jumps over the line, like little things like that can't happen. So I think just cleaning up, you know, um, what's his name, Randall. When he gets the ball, I don't want to see him wasting the clock down too low or getting the ball and then he stopped his dribble. Now he's in the air. He's trying to throw. I don't want to see things like that. When we get to the new year, February, you just clean it up. And I think that if I start to see them clean up and not making those little small mistakes throughout the game, then you're playing smarter basketball. And then I'll feel a lot more comfortable and say, you know what, nah, these guys are clicking. And I see it happening together with all of them. So I think to some degree, the Knicks offense is clicking, but I think they still have some work to do.
Yeah, yeah, because and it's hard because with RJ being out, yeah, they won that one game, against Atlanta, without him. But when you don't, if your three guys aren't consistently on the floor,
Hmm.
so to me they're clicking, but you're still figuring out because now you got to play with, you
Exactly.
know, like a Hart, and he's not a starter, so you kind of sorta are still figuring it out.
Right.
But they are clicking, and I think they're gonna need definitely a few more games. Me personally, a few more games to, like okay, we got something going here. Um,
But I think this is good that to some degree that you do have two guys out with RJ and Grimes being out because like I've been saying to you, I would like Tibbs to try to switch up the rotation to some degree and try out different guys with playing with other guys that's in the starting lineup and switch it up because you never know. And to me, if we're a team and you play on the starting squad or that second squad, you should be gelling and clicking with guys. This is why y'all practice. So you should have that cohesion. So if I play on a starting lineup and you come off the bench, it doesn't matter if it's vice versa. We should be able to click and I know how you play. We know what the plays are, but I know how your style of play is in your game and vice versa. You know how I play. So if DiVincenzo comes off the bench, you should be able to pick up the pieces from whoever you replaced and went to the bench. So I think that those guys need to be able to overall, it doesn't matter who's starting or not. The end goal should be the same for every man on the team, and that's to get the W at the end of the night. So that means you have to contribute and do your job and do what's needed of you on a nightly basis.
and it sort of forces, I know sort of, but it does forces those players that you that are starting to sort of,
Right.
step up. You know the plays, you practice just like I do. Play to your strength, not your weakness. So
Hmm.
it's sort of, they are forced to step up. So it's a good thing, and so that's another reason why say with the clicking. Um, you know, but again, they still have a few more games, and that's my
Yeah, I agree. I think it's still going to be the Knicks need to play a few more games for it to click. But I think, like I said, this is going to be good because it gives guys a chance to one for the coaching staff to be for tips to make those adjustments and changes and say, okay, well, let me have this guy come in. Let me try DiVincenzo. Let me try, this is a chance also for Josh Hart to step up and prove he can consistently step up for us. Maybe it'll make Tibbs want to bring him in instead of, or, DiVincenzo, this is your chance to step up. And maybe Tibbs may want to bring Grimes off the bench because to me, Grimes could come off the bench. I don't think he needs to start. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he plays great defense, but Josh Hart showed me the other night what he showed last season. And I was like, oh, okay, now if this can stick, kind of like how you were saying Randall got his mojo back. I would like to see that with Josh Hart on a consistent basis now. And it's like, okay, let us see the Hart you was bringing last season and see what he can do. It's funny because I was watching not yesterday's episode. I didn't get to watch the whole thing of Steph's podcast of Dope Soul Sports Talk. I want to say I don't remember which episode this was, but people were talking about they would rather I think because they was talking about the whole trade with what's his name? Zach Levine. And then people were saying like, excuse me, it wasn't Steph, it was Sim and Tony. Sim and Tony did a real late episode. It was after that Atlanta game, and I watched it yesterday while I was at work. And it was crazy to me because people was in the chat saying like, and they were talking about it too, how um they wouldn't they would keep Mitch and get rid of Hartenstein. And I'm like, granted, Mitch is playing well on the rebound end, and he's doing great things. But I think what some people fail to realize as Nick fans is that Mitch is a one-dimensional player. He's only gonna get you offensive and defensive boards, and he's gonna give you a couple of blocks. Mitch has to be like Grimes, he has to be fed the ball to score. And I think for the Knicks to take it to the next level, you have to have guys who don't always need to be fed the ball to score. You have to be able to score on your own in this league. Yeah, it's a sharing game. It's five players and it's not one player that wins the game, but Michael Jordan didn't always need the ball to score. LeBron James doesn't always need to be fed the ball to score. You see what Jason Tatum did when we played the Boston Celtics and he took over that game? That's what I'm talking about. And even if you the big man and sometimes you got to just be there and be ready and be at that basket and be ready to tip that ball in whatever it takes, like that's what I mean about having guys who could step up and take it past that basic level of what Mitchell Robinson is doing. And it's no knock on Mitch. I like Mitch as a player. I really do. But I wouldn't keep Mitch around if I can bring somebody in who can do what a Jokic could do, what a
Okay.
Giannis could do. You know what I mean? Like that to me is like it's just a no-brainer. And people, I think a lot, I'm not gonna say people, a lot of Knicks fans are so caught up on this Mitch Robinson facade that they're like Mitch is untouchable. He's the man. And I'm like, but are we all watching the same games? If anything, in all honesty, if you're gonna keep Mitch, I would slide Mitch to the bench and bring that other guy in, and whoever that would be, and who's gonna be the center position, and have him start and Mitch come off the bench behind him. Or really, in my opinion, I would rather keep Hartenstein because Hartenstein could not just rebound, he knows how to pass the ball well. Mitch doesn't know how to pass it. Hartenstein is not afraid to dribble also. He's a
Yeah.
little bit more flexible and looser in his game, whereas Mitch, he only can stay in that little box. And sometimes you need players that can go outside the box, and Mitch is stuck in a square. And he's been in the league long enough that he hasn't added any kind of repertoire to his game. So I don't know what a lot of Knicks fans see that maybe I'm not seeing, but I'm like, and it's not me being a Mitch hater. I'm just like, but if we're trying to get to a championship, like Steph was saying, I would get rid of a lot of guys on the team right now because this ain't it. This ain't it. The only one I would really keep is real talk is Jalen Brunson, and I would keep Quickly. And I possibly would keep Randall, but with Randall, we don't know what we're gonna get some nights because it's not even so much as it's his play. He gets moody. And we don't have time for guys that's gonna be like the dead weight.
Yeah, but yeah, I would, with Mitch, but again, he brings a lot of intangibles. When he gets those rebounds, whether he's, you know, tapping it out, throwing it out to the players, that counts for something. I mean,
It does,
we,
but that's not, see, you missing my point. What I'm saying is yes. I appreciate him getting the offensive rebounds. I appreciate him getting the defensive rebounds. Is that good enough for you? Just the rebounds? We need somebody else who could do a little bit more than just rebound for us. You understand what I'm saying? Like
it ha-
again, and I'm not trying to compare him and say I need his game to be like a Giannis, like a Jokic, or Kevin Garnett. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is I need you to bring a little bit more than just that. He's stuck in just a square. His game is just a square. That's all it is. And if he goes outside the box, Mitch is scared to dribble the ball. Even if it's a handoff, he'll just stand there holding it and he's trying to wait to pass it at the right time. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you need somebody who's going to be in that center five position who's going to be able to give you a little bit more than just a great rebound and could pass it out in the right way or a nice dunk. I need a little bit more than that. I'm sorry. And great teams don't have centers who's just rebounders.
No, that's I mean, Shaq is the prime example. You know, he would back you down. He lob. He dribble. You know,
Right.
there's I agree, but until someone becomes available, that's gonna give us those other things that we're missing.
And
This
I
is
agree. No,
this is
I'm
what
with
we
you on
have.
that. But right. But this is what I'm saying is if someone came along,
Oh, for
to
sure.
me, Mitch can go.
Yeah.
I would say, you know what? Okay, if it means whatever because of the money, to me, Mitch can go. And I would keep that guy. But what I'm asking you, okay, you get, a Jokic type of player down low. Are you keeping Mitch as the backup, or are you keeping Hartenstein? Because you know one of them are gonna have to go.
I mean, I would keep that's a tough one, and I like Big Heart. I like him, but I like Mitch's rebounding, his style. I don't like his style of play because he don't have any plays. But to me, those give us second chance and opportunities that you know.
So you would keep
It's a
Mitch
tough.
as the backup.
What was that?
You would keep Mitch as the backup.
Yeah,
No,
I
I'm just asking. I would too. I would keep Mitch as the
yeah,
backup, but what I'm saying is I wouldn't keep starting him if you had somebody that came in that was better
yeah. If you
and
yeah,
could give you more. But that's where I question like Tibbs, because I'm like, would you keep starting Mitch because Mitch has been on the team? I think you would have to make adjustments and say, well, you know what? Because to me, he probably would do it where he would play half and half, like he's doing with Hartenstein and Mitch. But to me, if that other guy's giving you a bit more, or you got somebody like a Kristaps Porzingis and he could shoot the three, or like a Towns and they could shoot the three, they have a down low presence. That's what I'm looking for.
for
I
sure.
need a guy who's a bit more versatile on his game besides just offensive and defensive rebounds. And I think that's what the Knicks need to try to get and make Mitch the backup. I think Mitch does a fantastic job on the rebounding end, but I think Mitch needs to be the backup option and not the first option.
Well, for sure. If and when that time comes, and if they get somebody that they can explore that other option, I'm definitely all for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. This offseason is going to be very interesting and crucial. The Knicks are still up. It's 9 minutes and 43 seconds in the second quarter. The score is 39-27. So yeah, we're gonna go watch this game and we will chat with you guys and give you post game coverage on this game. I think the Knicks next game, I think is Sunday. The Knicks play.
Don't they have a back to back? No, they do. They play
They play.
Friday and Saturday. They off Sunday. They play Monday. They play They got Charlotte Saturday.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, they
and
play. Yeah, they play tomorrow
Minnesota,
at 6.
and then they got
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, so they off Sunday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll definitely be hitting you guys tomorrow with a post game from today's in season and a pregame to Charlotte, which should be another win. So the Knicks, I did say they should get today's win and tomorrow again. So Charlotte's going to be looking to get revenge, but the Knicks could win. So I'm betting on the New York Knicks. They're my team. I believe in them, and yeah, we will see. It must be a timeout right now, but it's 27-39. Knicks are up, and yeah. Anything else before we get out of here?
Oh, I'm waiting. I'm excited for this game. Let's go Knicks, and we'll definitely be looking forward to tomorrow's game as well with Charlotte. Revenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited. that we're in basketball season and we get to watch a lot of Knicks games. Um, so yeah, we'll be coming through. We'll be back tomorrow, and we will be doing a ladies' night on the 29th on a Dope Soul Sports Talk. So if you want, catch us there. I'll be reminding the viewers. And as always, everybody, thank you for watching another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. Thank you to all our new subscribers. Thank you to those who's hitting the like button. Thank you to those who's been subscribing to the channel. We appreciate it. Until next time, let's go Knicks, and we're out of here.
Peace. Thank you.